Welcome to Over 50 So What? The show designed especially for us 8 million Australians over the age of 50. I'm Carol. With COVID, bushfires and recently floods, it's been challenging to stay positive and optimistic. We chat again to Victor Perton, the Chief Optimism Officer, to get some more tips. If you're a regular and you enjoy watching the 5-minute fitness segment, please make today the first day to join in, even if you do it sitting down. You'll definitely feel better afterwards. We do like to let you know different things you can try. We've done gyrotonics, square dancing, and zip lining. Today we're going to find out more about Goya with Liz from Sun Rangers Goya. Hi Victor, welcome back to Over 50 So What? Great to have you back on the show.
Oh, look, Carol, you just lift the community with your effervescence and your questions and the people you have on this show. So it is just an honor and a privilege to join you, Carol.
Yeah, last time we spoke, we had a really good laugh about how laughter is good to making you more optimistic, and we touched on that optimism makes you healthy. So can you go through, elaborate a bit more this time on the benefits to your health for being more optimistic?
Yeah, so look, the big study was published about 4 years ago with the American military, Harvard and Boston University. And what was interesting in that study was that optimism is the key to healthy longevity. And there's been a number of studies that have followed that up that have reinforced it. In terms of living a long and healthy life, on average, optimists live longer. The Vienna Medical School also did a fantastic study, Carol, on sleep and optimism. And, it won't surprise your viewers that optimists sleep better. You put your anxieties, in the box till tomorrow. But the Vienna Medical School was really interesting that they thought the most effective intervention to make yourself more optimistic is a wonderful practice called My Best Self. And it's a visualization, imagining exercise. And you can take a glass of whiskey or a glass of wine or a cup of tea and spend 5 to 10 minutes fantasizing about yourself in 5 years' time. Imagine everything goes right with your health and your relationships, and just imagine yourself in 5 years' time. And then you spend 10 minutes journaling about a day in your life. Who are you going to have breakfast with? Will you be at home, or will you be at work, or will you be in Vienna? And at the end of the 10 minutes, you can put it away in your drawer. You can go for a walk. You don't need to share it with anyone. The scientific evidence says just doing the exercise lifts you. And we recommend you do it every 3 months.
We've talked about anxiety and depression and sleep and longevity. So there's other health benefits like cardiovascular and blood pressure.
Yeah, and the habits we shared last time was just, one of them is just smiling more. It's so easy to do, but so easy to forget. Just smiling more makes you feel better. And then laughter, as we said, there's cardiovascular benefits. The reason it's so important, Carol, is that 1 in 7 Australians is now on an antidepressant, and nearly half of them have been on it for more than 2 years. People have got to use these things to help them and to help others. Now, you can't help everyone, right? There are people who are clinically depressed, they need medication. But most people who are being put on antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs are being put on it for the natural fears of life. Kids doing VCE, widows and widowers who've lost a husband, divorcees, where these are the normal stresses of life. So what we've got to help people with, and we've even got a group at the Centre for Optimism working on grief and optimism. And one of the leaders in that group is a woman who lost her son, 18-year-old son, in a car accident, a year ago. But she has turned her grief into something positive to help other people work their way through grief. It's unnatural to lose a son or a husband or a wife without suffering grief, without feeling sad. But sadness, like happiness, is natural. Optimism teaches you that after that, things will work out.
Now, Victor, what is the difference between optimism and being positive?
when you think of positive thinking, it's often associated with, there's a silver lining in every dark cloud. Out of tragedy will come, opportunity. And it's not the case, and oftentimes it's the wrong thing. If you think about a friend whose husband has died or a child has died or the like, and you're sitting with them, right? You don't want to be saying, there's a silver lining in this. You want to let that person talk. You want to, if you're going to steer the conversation, steering them to thoughts of positivity and those positive memories. Optimism is rooted in reality. It's a belief that things will work out in the end. Positive thinking tends to be more about, there's an opportunity that comes out of everything that goes wrong.
So how do we stay optimistic in a world of crisis?
Yeah, no, really good question. And, I come from a refugee family from Lithuania and Latvia, so I'm drawn to the news on the Ukraine and what's happening in the Ukraine. Zelensky, who is the ultimate in infectiously optimistic leaders, but realistic, did a wonderful video recently, and he narrates the video and he showed it on CNN, and it was, "This was my home," and it shows a missile going through a house, and "this was my grandfather," and there's imagery of a dead body. And then he pauses and he says, "But what the Russians don't understand is we're going to build a new Ukraine." And Fareed Zakaria was astonished. He said, "You're living this every day. How can you stay so positive, so optimistic?" And Zelensky said to him, "It's because I believe in people." So one of the really important things is maintaining that faith in people. Understanding that most people are good. Your question was, how can we stay optimistic? The number one trick is to surround ourselves with optimistic people, Carol.
So can you tell us about the Australian Leadership Project then?
It came out of my history of work in the United States and globally, where it didn't matter where I went. Every time, people think of Australia and Australians, they think of us optimistically. So when I came back to Australia, I was mystified by the negativity of language, Carol, around leadership. In a country that is so prosperous, people are somehow being taught this lie that they're being hard done by. So rather than complain about the complainers, we interviewed 2,500 people on the qualities of Australian leadership, Carol. And the three qualities that exemplify the Australian leader: one is egalitarianism, self-effacing humour, and thirdly, no bullshit plain speaking. At the end of the project, I was still bewildered as to why people are so negative. And then my eureka moment came in 2017. The problem is not the problem of leadership. The problem is the fog of pessimism. And, I'm just trying to do my little bit by helping people to focus on what makes them optimistic and to help them spread optimism to those around them.
Now, do you have any closing comments for the viewers of how to look forward to the future more optimistically?
Yeah, look, it's as I said, it's quite simple. You've just got to remember that phrase: all shall be well, all shall be well, all shall be well. And always remember, whatever is going wrong, the sun still rises in the morning, you've still got friends. And if you can, one of the things I love to do, Carol, you see that image behind me. I love to get up in the morning and watch that early light before the sun rises. Some people like the sunset. I love that yellow and orange you get as the sun's coming up and reflecting off clouds.
Well, on that note, we'll have to finish, and thank you so much for coming on the show. You've got heaps of resources that people can access. You've got your books, you've got your courses, you've got your habits, and everyone can jump online and grab those off you. Thanks so much, Victor.
Thanks, Karen. As I said, they can actually get a free subscription to the Centre for Optimism. So they just go Centre for Optimism, where it says join up. There's actually a free option there. Most of our activities are actually free. So there's lots of opportunities to help to make yourself and other people more optimistic.
Well, thanks again, Victor. We'll see you again, I'm sure.
I look forward to it, Carol. Maybe we do it next time, next year.
Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, Get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?